One key thing you need to understand about being a content creator, you don't need the latest and greatest technology in order to get the job done. Especially when it comes to camera gimbals. Hey, how's it going, guys? Cesar Santos here, and this channel is all about helping you and inspiring you to create content with whatever means necessary. So if you're interested in learning about technology, gear, or other ways of creating content, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. So first things first, you really need to ask yourself this question, and that is, do you really need a camera stabilizer? Do you really need a gimbal? Really consider this for a second, because the last thing you want to do is buy something expensive, whether new or used, and you don't learn how to use it to its fullest potential. Next thing you know, you're going to have it collecting dust somewhere in the room, or better yet, put it back on the used market and sell for half the price that you got it at. Camera stabilizers like these can add some really amazing production value to the content you create, but only if you're willing to learn how to use them to their fullest potential. One thing that you'll notice out there, especially when it comes to camera stabilizers like this, is that there's a few key features that they all share. And these are actually the features that you actually care about and that you're gonna end up using at the end of the day. There's pan follow, basically allows you to pan left to right without the camera going up or down. There's locking mode, basically the camera is locked, so it doesn't matter if you move left to right, the camera will stay locked. And then there's follow mode, and basically similar to pan follow, however, when you go up and down, the camera will also pan up and down. Again, these modes are pretty much widely available on every camera stabilizer that you can think of, even the ones that are for phones, or obviously ones like this, to the even more modern ones that include extra features like vortex mode, which this one actually has, the ability for you to use an actual focus wheel. There's even some other equipment that you can buy where you can wirelessly control the focus as well, and an abundance of other different features that camera gimbals have to offer. But those are basically the modes that you want to have when it comes to you looking for any kind of camera stabilizer, because those are the modes that you're going to end up using for the most part when it comes to you creating content. Which leads me into the next point. Every camera stabilizer out there on the market has specific specifications on weights and camera size that can actually fit in this general area where you can actually put your camera on and hopefully be able to balance it and use it. If you're an iPhone shooter or Android shooter and you want a camera gimbal, a camera stabilizer, probably gonna want to get those smaller ones made by Zhiyun, like the same company that made this one, or DJI. They make some really cool gimbals for your phone that don't require you to buy anything extra. I originally was only using this stabilizer with this camera, but I needed to fit bigger cameras. Luckily, Zhiyun actually made a base plate that's already screwed on here that allows you to fit wider cameras. I was able to fit the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K on here. The 1DX also fits on here too with this plate, and this is actually designed for that. That is one thing that separates camera stabilizers from another, is the amount of weight that can actually be held on this for the camera stabilizer to actually do its job. So really consider that fact, especially before you buy any stabilizer out there. Another thing you need to know about stabilizers is that every manufacturer has a different algorithm. Not to get too technical here, but there is motors here that you see, 1, 2, and there's one back here, that actually have to balance the camera. And all these manufacturers have a specific algorithm to how it reacts based on where this is positioned. This is the other axis that it's positioned in. And it has to make sure that everything's balanced in order to keep, obviously, your camera locked in a certain position or in a specific mode. Most stabilizers out there allow you to actually fine-tune this using an app. And like I mentioned a minute ago, you can do that with this one, fine-tune it if you needed to for a specific application that you're actually using it for. And last but not least, one of the most important things about these camera stabilizers, they are expensive and you gotta consider the cost. Now, when this Zhiyun Crane 2 with the follow focus motor and the system came out, it was $549, and that was a few years ago. You can now buy this on the used market for a little less than $200. That's definitely one thing you should consider, is that cost, because at the end of the day, if you want to buy something new, maybe you want to buy new because you don't want to deal with the hassle of buying something used and it breaking 6 months down the line. I get that, but I love seeing my options, and I know many of you who are on a budget and just want to buy something that works for them, that's cheap, especially if it's a screaming deal, then I say go for it and buy it on the used market. But if you're looking to buy it new, buy it new. There's the new Zhiyun Crane 2S, which has the majority, if not all, of these same features, but upgraded. At the end of the day, is that if you can get something pretty cheap like this and you're looking for something on a budget, I would highly recommend you go in the used market first of all and see what's available for you. The Zhiyun Crane 2 here has treated me well. I've used it with many different camera systems. I've hadn't had any issues with it at all. besides obviously buying some extra batteries. And that's the other cool thing about this. You can just swap the batteries out throw on a new pair, and you're good to go. If you're considering getting one of these, have a look down in the description of this video down below where I have the resources to all of the equipment that I use to create content, including this gimbal. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.